Well, welcome back to the spotty and sparse internet world of Warhammer 666. So I've been super lazy, and only in the fact that I have not been, keeping a promise of uploading videos in conjunction with the new record, which I've been trying to complete. And it's been just hard to get in front of a camera and talk about something where very little progress happens week to week, and it's more of a slow crawl towards not much shit happens in 7 days that I can come back here and update you. So I've been struggling to find reasons to push play on the camera and jump in front of it. And for those that really kind of enjoy listening to someone ramble about the way I make a fucking album, I apologize. It's not like I did this on purpose to fucking suck you in and disappoint. And it's not like, there's a ton of people that I guess waiting each week to hear an update. But nonetheless, I said I was going to do it, and I dropped the ball pretty hard on that one. I mean, the good news is that the album is complete. And when I say complete, it's mixed, mastered, listened to 1,000 times. And I'm happy with it. And I think it's pretty good, And I reached out to a good friend in Jason Scholl. Jason Scholl does, or will be doing, like, the majority of my artwork, because I kind of feel that he gets it. I can give him a topic, I can give him an idea, and he'll shoot back a bunch of different stuff, and I can look at that and go, wow, that kind of that fucking hits home. So he's completed the artwork, and he's very kindly sent that to me. And now we're at that point where we need to start thinking, well, how are we going to release it? And there's only been really one way I've wanted to do this. And it wasn't like this decision came to me. It just, I want to do this on vinyl. I look around the bands, very similar kind of stature to myself. And, I see a lot of CD releases, and I see a lot of cassette releases. And I'm thinking I got to do something better than that. I've got to do something which is just going to stick its head that little bit more above that crowd, and so I can have something that's worth the dollars that you're going to pay for it. And I mean, I must really thank Marty Worm of Heavy Metallurgy. The guys, I mean, look, fucking, we talk, I would say, at least every day, if not like every other day. And, we talk about this music, we talk about other music, we talk about just stuff that is going on. And I mean, it really convinced me to look at what I do and go, you got to do better than what you've done. Okay. And look, I'll be the first to admit, the last thing I released, I thought it was good. And I listened back to it, and I'm like, it could be better. I could have had some more time spent. You don't have to release something every single, month to stay relevant. And I think if you do, something's gonna fucking be lacking. And in my case, it's quality of production, quality of playing. And it's not like I'm gonna put out a fucking guitar shredding black metal album that rivals the fucking classics, but I can do better. And this one here, I think I've really kind of gone into the weeds, and maybe unhealthily gone into the weeds, and pulled out something which is, a full sounding collection of songs. And I like the concept. But like most of the things that I do, it normally is fucking clouded by something that normally will happen and completely derail it. And this one has been no different, you know, and it kind of sucks. And I mean, from the very first um, album that I put out, you know, something always goes wrong. That one, you know, it was just more of a superficial, didn't like the way that it sounded. But, you know, from the next one having people die, and then the next one, you know, having fucking, you know, things like, still kind of reeling from that, because that was released pretty quick after that. And a lot of those songs were written around the same time. So you go through, you know, that's the aftermath. And then this one being More Death. And this one was the one where I should have been more disconnected from it, but that wasn't to be the case. And, you know, it really stunted the progress of this. And, you know, not for the reasons, I guess, that you think. It's not like, you know, it impacted me more than it impacted others, but it's like when you see someone going through that pain and, you know, then having to deal with disgusting human beings who want to capitalize on that and try to, you know, kick you when you're down. It's just been pretty fucking shitty month, let's just say. So we got that. And I mean, also to, you know, I do the Sunday Mayhem show with Shredbeard and Miss A. And believe it or not, like, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to hold a conversation for 2 hours. It isn't a conversation that's organic. It's like, it's a planned discussion. And I mean, not all of it is planned, but you have to think of things to keep a fucking show going for 2 hours. And when you have someone who's looking at you through your camera lens and you've never met them before and you want to speak to them for 2 hours, you'll be surprised how quickly you run out of fucking shit to say without just repeating yourself over and over again. And some people come on and they don't want to talk about stuff, you know, and some people come on and you don't really know them apart from their online persona, and you can run out of shit to say pretty quickly. And you have to kind of, you know, plan for that. So that's been taking up the majority of my time while, you know, we heal from the last month's catastrophic event. And we put all of our effort into that so we wouldn't go crazy. And, you know, I think we've done a pretty good job, but it does suck a lot of the time that I would normally do music into that. And then when that's done, you are absolutely spent. And the last thing you want to do is look back at your computer screen. But, you know, the last few days, I guess I've been slowly trying to get back into it. And when I've listened to this again, you know, it's been with fresh ears. So I really enjoy that amount of work that I've put in, and I think this is ready to go, and it's not going to be touched. It's already been broken down to, you know, what is going to be put out. And now it's a matter of getting all my little cookies together so I can go and press vinyl. And I really hope it works because, you know, I'm at this point where it's going to take me a lot of my own personal money to get something that I'm 100% happy with. And the other kicker is, you know, last night we had John Barbas on from Heavy Metal Philosophy. And look, you can watch Heavy Metal Philosophy and you can say, well, it's a channel that just basically shouts out new metal releases. Not a hell of a lot going on with that. Not too much thought going into that. But, you know, I see something a little different. Like, this is a guy that's obviously incredibly intelligent. He's curating this, and he's built a online presence, and he's also built a company behind that, plus living his everyday fucking life and having to tend to a field or a farm full of animals, so doing a shitload of work and still getting in front of a camera and uploading every single week. I probably don't do as much as John, yet I'm finding it hard to upload a 10-minute video. So that's kind of inspirational, but also too, John has some insights into things. And last night he answered a question about the metal presses that are firing all their people and why that's happening. And that was probably one of the more earth-shattering for me answers that he gave. And if you want to have a look at that, you can go over to Shredbeard's channel and you can check out it's only a half an hour of interview. And we asked him about, these metal injections and metal sucks firing all their people. And he bluntly stated that metal fans that frequent these sites are no longer going to these sites. And if they do go to these sites, it's pretty much for clickbaity type of titles. It's for drama. People really don't care about the positive of it or the artistic part of it. I mean, if Marilyn Manson releases a new album versus if Marilyn Manson punches a woman in the face, like the difference in the amount of viewership that are going to go and want to see the aftermath of Marilyn Manson punching a woman in the face is going to far outweigh the years and years of pouring tons of money, tons of artistic endeavors into an album. So he hopefully can go out on tour and live for the next few years over, a callous event. Now, I'm not saying he punched a woman in the face in the last fucking week. I'm sure it's been a few weeks since he's done that. But he has released albums and, I don't even hear about him anymore. But I have heard all the bad shit. So that's what these sites are now talking about. And God forbid it's an artist like the size of, say, my project. Like, no one's clicking on that. And that's not me being all fucking woe is me. That's because no one really cares if Metallica or Megadeth put out a new album. Fever pitch is high, but if another band like Metal Church put out an album, there's a lukewarm reception at best, and so on and so forth down the totem pole of popularity. Now, I can argue that, look, if as long as I can complete something and see a finished product, then that makes me happy. Up until the point where I've got to put down $2,000, hopefully for someone to purchase this, and suddenly I'm stuck with $2,000 worth of vinyl, So we're all kidding ourselves if we think that some of this isn't done for you or me to have someone listen and purchase this stuff. So for a person like me who's doing this all himself, this is not only, well, it is a labor of love, it's also risk. And putting out $2,000 of my own money could have me in a hole for 12 months, 18 months, because I've got to pay bills too on top of paying back this, or I've got to save for it. So that's going to put more time in. So you can see where the music scene is. And I mean, how do we get out of that? How do we get out of the fact that when, a local underground band puts a ton of energy and money into a release and no one gives a shit about it? That's the question that everyone from myself probably up to Metal Church is probably thinking, and beyond. Like, who gives a fuck about your album, I can listen to it on YouTube. I don't have to put $1 down. So we're always trying to find something that's just going to be the most economical way of being in front of people, especially if you're investing everything you've got into a release. And look, I don't think just because I put time and effort and money into it that you should buy it. You should only buy something that you enjoy, right? But also too, the cost of living's gone up. People got bills, people got to put food on the table. So I completely understand it, you know. And even myself, who's out here bitching and moaning about potentially trying to find an audience with what I've got because there's so many other bands, like, I get it. I'm under the same, you know, money constraints as you guys. So it's a do you or do you not, or do you just go the cheaper route and not do vinyl, you know? And then this is my project. I put a lot of work into this, and I'd like to, when it's said and done and I've wrapped up and I'm not gonna do anything more, have products that I've put out which I'm really, really proud of. So I want this to be one of them because I put a ton of fucking time into it. You know, the other stuff that's been happening, I guess, is, you know, a lot of musical discussions with, you know, new people that I've met. Aaron at the Metal Theologian has probably been one of those dark horses that have come in and, you know, shook my foundation as far as just some insights into something that he experienced and how he's adapted to that. And of course, I'm talking about my obsession with his black metal question, because I'll listen to black metal, not at this point, my ear is trained to it and I know what I like. And I'll dismiss things that I don't think are close to the stuff that I'm going to enjoy. And everyone out there is exactly the same. We're not bad people for doing it, but what he has done is he has put an idea forward that has opened a door to a whole range of different stuff. And I'll give you what that idea is. Aaron's belief is that he listens to black metal, or has understood black metal better since he has stopped listening to it as metal. That sounds super confusing. I get it. But the gist of his point is that he listens to a lot of jazz. So he started listening to black metal how he listens to jazz. And the long and short is it's an atmosphere or a feeling that the music gives, and that's what the essence of black metal is. That doesn't work across the board, right? You can't paint the whole scene with that brush, but you can tell what type of music Aaron may be into based on that. And I found that that resonated with me because I find that the music that I gravitate to in the black metal scene is the stuff that gives me a feeling instead of great riffs or bridges or solos. That's not what I'm listening to it for. So I think that's kind of opened my ears and mind to a lot of stuff where before I just wrote it off. And now I'm willing to go back and look at shit where I just wrote it off without giving it a second thought. You know, so that's changed my mind about what I'm doing here. Allowed me to stop thinking that, well, this has to be a blast beat. This has to be this. This doesn't have to be anything. This just has to be a feeling that makes me feel what I'm trying to say with this music. And that sounds real hippy dippy, but I understand it. And now I get it. That is what black metal is to me. Doesn't have to be that to you, but that's what it is to me. And going forward, I really want to explore that part of it. May not be conventional, may not be blast beats, may not be drums, may not be guitar, but I just want to be able to really push the boundaries of what I do and what I can play and try to record it and put it out, because I think that's a true artistic offering. That is the truest that I can be, is trying to play the thing that's in my head without worrying about a guy in fucking Texas or Ohio or fucking anywhere else in the world going, well, what a sellout, or fucking he's that's not black metal. Well, I don't give a fuck, because you know why? Because that motherfucker ain't paying for the fucking vinyl release. He's not paying for the fucking CD. So, his opinion to me is just another opinion, and that's pretty much what I wanted to come on here and say. This album is done. In the next coming weeks, I'll put up the artwork and try to get everyone to look at that the best I can. Next Sunday, there'll be another Mayhem Sunday. I may or may not be a part of that, but I am here. I'm just not always here. Sorry if everything's shook there. It's not, my thing is not on the best stand, but I thank you for just showing up and listening to me moan and groan about my troubles with the music that I make and what the rest of the thing makes and the rest of the scene makes, why I hate it and why I love it. But support the underground bands. Just buy cheap CD once a month, once every 2 months. Do what you can, show up to a show. I'm going to do my best now to do more shows and meet more people and talk to people. I don't think there's a lot of artistic creation going on in a room where I sit by myself. So I want to get out there and talk to more people. And hopefully that'll give me something to talk to you people about. But until such a time, I'm not going to say I'll see you next week, because we all know that could be a lie. But I'll see you again.